opener, the lie. This is not a guide, not a coaching session, not a 5-step plan to heal faster. This is an invitation to understand something about yourself and maybe about the people who have hurt you. And this is not about blame, not about who was right or wrong. It is about something almost everyone has felt at least once on both sides. Part 1. The question. Think of the last time you lied. Not a big lie. Maybe just, I am fine, or it does not matter, or no, really, I am not upset. You probably remember why, because something felt safer than the truth. And think of the last time someone lied to you. You might have known right away, or you found out much later. Either way, something shifted. A small crack in something you thought was solid. Both of these things live inside you, the one who has lied and the one who has been lied to. They are not opposites. They are two sides of the same fear. The fear of what happens when someone sees you as you really are. Part 2. The one who lies. No one lies because they enjoy it. Not in the way we sometimes tell ourselves. People lie because something feels too heavy to carry as it is. Because the truth feels dangerous. Because they are afraid of what you will do with it. Of whether you will stay. Of whether you will still want them if you know. For some people, it is not even a decision. It happens before they think. A reflex. A small adjustment to make the moment feel safer. Not strategic, not cruel, just someone who learned early that the truth had consequences, and then comes the quiet part. After the lie has been told, there is relief for a moment, and then something else, a weight that does not go away, because you know, even if they do not, and knowing changes something in the way you stand in the room. Part 3. The one who is lied to the hardest part is not finding out. The hardest part is the time before, when something felt wrong, but you could not name it. When you noticed something but told yourself you were imagining it. When you chose to believe because the alternative felt like too much to hold. You were carrying two things at once. What you knew and what you hoped. And for a while, hope was heavier than knowing. That is not weakness. That is what happens when you love something more than you fear losing it. You are tired, not from today, from months, maybe years, from the weight of knowing something you were not allowed to say, from adjusting yourself around a truth that was never named. That exhaustion has a reason. Part 4. The moment you knew you already knew. Maybe not with words, but somewhere in your body you knew, and you stayed, not because you were blind, because you believed that things could be different, that people could change, that the version you saw sometimes was the real one. Trusting someone is not the same as ignoring what you see. It is choosing to give something before you know if it is safe. Every time that takes something from you. Most people do not understand how much. And the one who lied to you learned something early too, that the truth was not always safe, that being seen had consequences, that adjusting the story kept things from falling apart. That does not make it right, but it makes it something other than simply cruelty. Part 5. What you do with it. You do not have to understand them right now. You do not have to forgive. You do not have to make peace with something that still hurts. This is not about them. This was never really about them. This is about you and what you have been carrying that was never yours to begin with. Not, I trusted too much, but I gave something real to someone who was not ready for it. Not, I should have seen it sooner, but I saw it when I could. Not, I was naive, but I believed in people. And that is not something to fix. That is something to protect. You will trust again, not because you have forgotten, but because going through life expecting the worst from everyone is not an answer. Every person deserves the same chance. The pain came not from giving that chance. It came from who you gave it to. And maybe that is the part worth holding on to. Not the lie, but the fact that you were someone who still believed. Closing. The lie. If you have ever carried something you could feel but not prove, write one word below. Not for me. For the person scrolling after you who has been doing the same thing in silence.
You said you were fine, not because it was true, but because it felt safer than saying what was. Something in you knew how the moment could turn, so you chose a version that would not disturb. You softened the truth before it could land, not to deceive, just to stay where you stand. And you felt it too, on the other side, that quiet shift you couldn't describe, a sentence that landed just slightly off, a silence that followed that said enough. You noticed something you couldn't name, a feeling that stayed but never explained. It was never just a lie, it was something underneath, a fear of being seen, a fear of what that means. Two sides of the same place, two ways to stay safe, holding something back or holding on to faith. No one does it for pleasure, no one plans it out. It happens in seconds before there's a thought, a reflex in the body, a learned way to stay, to shape the moment so nothing breaks. Because somewhere early the truth had a cost, and saying it fully meant something was lost. So you learn to adjust, to make it feel light, to carry it quietly out of sight. And you knew before you knew, not in words, but in you, holding two things at once, what was there and what you hoped. And for a while, hope was stronger than what you felt in your bones. It was never just a lie, it was something underneath, a fear of being known, a fear of being seen. Not right, not wrong, just a place where people learn to protect what felt too heavy to say out loud. You stayed, not because you didn't see, but because you believed in what it could be. You gave something real without knowing if it was safe. Again and again, in the same kind of way that takes something from you most don't understand. To trust like that without a plan, and the one on the other side learned something too, that being fully seen could cost them you. You don't have to make sense of it now, you don't have to resolve it or turn it around. This was never about them, not really. This was about what you carried silently. You still believe that matters, not because it worked, but because it was real. And maybe that is what you keep, not the story, but the part of you that still believes.